is known as the Lucky Country. It is a country built on cultural diversity and understanding. In our anthem we sing, "For those who come across the seas, we've boundless plains to share." If this is to be true, then why doesn't Australia welcome refugees who have fled their countries because of war, poverty, violence, and natural disasters? I want you to take a minute to imagine what it would be like to live in a war-torn country. As a helpless child, how would you feel if you no longer had a home to go to, or even watch your family be torn apart? Imagine living in a world where there is little hope that you'll survive another day. This is a day-to-day reality for many young children around this world in places like Syria, Afghanistan, and Africa. Many people that live in war-torn countries live in fear every day. Even as I speak to you, this very moment, there is a poor child out there that is crying because they have lost their parents and are living on the streets. Some even hiding so they won't be sold for labour. Imagine how desperate a person must be that they are willing to give all their possessions to a stranger so that they can escape the torture they are living in every day. Imagine risking your life by getting on an old, dirty, unsafe boat in the promise that you'll arrive at paradise to build a new life. Refugees flee their homes with little more than the clothes on their backs. They don't leave their old world behind because they want to travel the world and see new places. They are not holiday makers ready for a great adventure. They are running scared and anxious that at any given time they will be exposed, captured, and sent back to torture. Now take another minute to think about the conditions refugees are exposed to on their journey to a new land, like Australia. Unlike a holiday cruise, these poor children have to sleep on each other, squashed, thirsty, and starving. But wait for it. As they finally reach Australia, the government gets on a megaphone and calls out, "Go back!" Not only are they frightened, ill, and desperate, but now they are unwanted in their home country and abroad. The Australian government rejects refugees and sends them to a place called Christmas Island and Nauru for months and often used for processing. These places are not luxury resorts, they are detention centres. Refugees are not criminals, they are desperate human beings in need of basic human rights: food, shelter, and safety. Australia holds about 800 children in detention centres. Research conducted by the Australian Refugee Council tells us that these centres are not safe for children. Many have physical and mental health problems from living in these centres. This research also tells us that these children witness violence while held in the centres. They have been robbed of their childhood. According to research conducted by the United Nations tells us that in 2014, Australia allowed roughly 5,000 refugees. You might think this is quite high. However, compared to the United States, who allowed roughly 53,000 refugees in the same year, you could say Australia is not living up to its boundless claims to share. As John Marsden says, everyone wants a place of safety, a place to share with the people they love, a place to relax, a home. Right now, more than 1 billion people don't have a home. That's 1 in 7 of the world's population. There are only 2 places you can be in life, home or away. I'll leave you with one final thought. To be called a refugee is the opposite of an insult. It is the badge of strength, courage, and victory.
Hey, you can't do dancing. That's for girls. You're a weirdo. You'll never get anywhere doing that. You're a girl. What are you doing playing soccer? That's a boys' game. What's wrong with you? These are some examples of how gender stereotypes and gender discrimination can influence or even bully people into doing what society expects. One definition of gender stereotypes is simplistic generalizations about the attributes, differences, and roles of individuals and/or groups. Stereotypes can be positive or negative, but they rarely communicate accurate information about others. Stereotypes can be the most inaccurate pieces of information about others and can be the cause of bullying for many young people. In December last year, a 12-year-old boy from California, Ronan Shimizu, took his own life after being repeatedly bullied for being the only boy on the cheerleading squad. Just recently, Hugh Jackman announced that he regretted not taking dance classes when he was a child because he was called a sissy. Julia Gillard, our first female Prime Minister, faced some hardships due to stereotypes. She was Australia's first female Prime Minister, and during her term, the media chose to report on her personal life, what outfit she was wearing, and the fact that she was not married and did not have children. The media did not like the fact that she was intelligent, ambitious, a workaholic, and did not fit the mould of what a woman is expected to do. Just because we are boys and girls does not mean we should do what society says a boy should do or what a girl should do, even if we feel strange if we don't. If a boy likes pink, loves fashion, and does dancing, he should be able to do that, be respected for his choices, and not be bullied because he's not playing sports like all the other boys. The same for girls. If she likes blue, loves superheroes, and plays football, she should not be harassed by stereotypes. Boys are expected to be tough and rowdy, while girls are expected to be emotional and quiet. This statement is very inaccurate, for boys, girls, women, and men are all different and should be accepted for who they are and what makes them happy. When you think of traditional male and female careers, you think of bank manager, tradesman, nurse, teacher. This makes boys and girls polar opposites. But what if a boy wanted to do something that is traditionally, according to stereotypes, a girl's activity, and vice versa? Would you make them feel uncomfortable about their decision or support their decision? What would you do? I too have experienced teasing due to gender discrimination. I've loved singing and dancing my whole life. When I was younger, I got teased for doing dancing and being the only boy in the class. I was laughed at and people told me I was gay and a weirdo. As I grew older, it got worse, as I was not interested in playing sports at lunch, would not make sport gala days, and would only do dance group and choir. Last year, at the start of Year 5, people finally started to accept me for who I am, and the teasing was reduced to minimal amounts of people. Gender stereotypes do exist, but we have to walk through them. Now, I challenge you, do not discriminate against people because of their gender and what you think they should do. Look past the end of your nose and see what is really there, not just a boy or a girl, but a human being. We are all different and unique, and we should be respected for our individualism and our own choices.
Why are you looking at me like that? Your eyes are telling me something you're not saying. Stop laughing. Insecure, isolated, tormented. Every day, I crave to be accepted and understood, despite my differences. Should I be forced to be like them and follow the crowd? I'm made to feel like the picture that could be perfect is staying with me being part of it. Why should I not deserve to be treated with the same equality as others? This is who I am. I gravitate towards more classical music and clothes with frills and ruffles. I'm definitely not your Miley Cyrus type. But why fit in when you were born to stand out? Let's get into the real meaning behind this speech. We all are exclusive in some way or another. So just stop and think about this statement for a moment. Does it matter if I'm of a different race, believe in a different religion, or be physically challenged? We should most certainly treat each other equally, no matter what circumstances we live in.
Let us help each other to portray one of God's most vital commandments. Love one another as I have loved you. Jesus dared to be different. He is the only unique Son of God. But people refused to believe and accept him. He suffered the pain of dying on the cross for us, and he had the power to forgive sins and heal the sick. Should we be ashamed to go to church if our best friend doesn't? Definitely not. Never be embarrassed to practice what you believe. Live in the light. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison for trying to change the minds of the pro-apartheid government. This meant that no black person could marry a white person, or no black person could eat at the same table as a white person in a restaurant. Mandela had the courage and wisdom to speak out and make a stand. Do you think racial prejudice is how it is meant to be? How would you feel if you could not play with your loving friends, if they're of a different nationality? Putting this situation into perspective with the world, so many people feel depressed and discouraged as they resist to follow what others believe is normal. An estimated 200 million students and young people around the world are being bullied by their own classmates. But should we let these damaging comments get the better of us? Being unique and accepting who we are is what makes the world more diverse. And yes, I'll listen to my Mozart if I want to. So just simply, be yourself. Accept yourself. Trust yourself. And truly express yourself. Like Jesus and Nelson Mandela, a lot of positive outcomes are possible when you follow your heart and stand up for what you believe in. Like one quote from Oscar Wilde, "Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. Dare to be different."
Ding, ding, ding. That's the 5-minute curtain call. The lights are dimming. Everyone is quieting down. My heart is pumping. Adrenaline is rushing. The lights are out. Let's begin the show. Standing silently behind the curtain of a stage, waiting. Your lines run through your head and you practice your last-minute dance moves. All of the problems from the day before you. Your lost shoe. The problem in the dressing room with the claustrophobic air and that disgusting, stale, hairspray odour just wishing to be free. That last-minute dance break change. All of those dramas disappear into the audience as that big, red curtain rises. Welcome to Behind the Curtain. If you've seen a show, then you'd already know how spectacular musicals can be. But before the big day, there's a lot more that happens than what the audience will see. In the months leading up to opening night, there are hours and hours of cold runs, rehearsals, costume fittings, dance preparation, and dress rehearsals. You work on getting everything right and memorising the 2.5-hour show ready to perform it. And then, all of a sudden, the director decides that he doesn't like this one small thing, and then bam, you're back to the beginning learning all new things and all new moves and lines. The repetition is exhausting, but you are so looking forward to the end result that everyone will just get on with the job and do whatever is needed to make this amazing. After the hours and hours spent with the entire cast means that by opening night, you are all like one big happy family. And the opening night is just like one huge celebration when it all finally comes together and the audience loves it. The silence is broken when the orchestra begins the first song. Lights on, curtain up, straight into it. Everything is going to plan. Excitement is catching. There are a few slip-ups and backstage dramas, and then, before you know what hit you, 2 hours later you're back on stage performing the finale. The audience is clapping and cheering. We are sweating, exhausted, pausing to catch our breath. All around are smiles as the curtain closes. That was amazing. My heart is pumping hard again, although this time for a different reason. Happiness and relief flow through my body. Opening night was a success, and I know that tomorrow I can return feeling the same way for night 2. Actors are the opposite of people. We bring joy to audiences and lighten people's worlds. We have the freedom to be ourselves, but also somebody else for 2 hours. But to be an actor requires hard work and dedication. Curtain is closed.
Have you ever wondered what you want to be in life? Everyone has a dream at some stage in their life about what they want to do in the future. Now, I would like to take this opportunity to share with you all my dream. Making headlines tonight. 4 friends nearly killed after joyride. Shark attack on the north coast. Sydney siege is finally over. An update now on our top story. Breaking news. Chris Barth for 7 News and Angela Cox reporting live from Greece. These are the phrases and words that one day I'll finally say and hear. My dream career is to become a broadcast journalist. A broadcast journalist is a person who researches, investigates, and presents news and current affairs content for television, radio, and the internet. Their aim is to present information in a balanced, accurate, and interesting way through news bulletins and documentaries. I am very sociable and I am confident in public speaking. It will take a great deal of timing and commitment to do this job, which I'm sure I can handle. In May this year, my family and I were fortunate to go to Sydney Royal Easter Show at Homebush. At the show, I visited the Channel 7 Network Village. I had the opportunity to have a live experience as a guest news reporter. This inspired and motivated my interest in pursuing a career in broadcast journalism. I was so nervous at first, but the Channel 7 staff were wonderful. They reassured me that I was going to be fine. It is not just glamour, as it requires a lot of hard work. My 2 minutes live experience at the news desk was such an amazing one. This experience has motivated me more and more to work harder at school to achieve my dream job. I am very certain that each one of you has an inspirational person in your lives, like a sports star, a celebrity, your parents, a favourite teacher, and many more. I am a big fan of Chris Barth, Channel 7 News anchor and host of the Sunday night program. I feel that Chris is such a down-to-earth person and she has done so well in her career. Do not give up on your dream. Make your dream a reality. My experience at the Easter show assured me that broadcast journalism is the career path I intend to follow. I'm looking forward to fulfill my dream in the future, so just wait and see while I'm completing all the pieces of the puzzle in my life. Then you'll see me on Channel 7. I will be the new Chris Barth and the best news presenter ever. Walt Disney once said, "All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them."
I'm running, but I don't know where. I pass dozens of trees, knowing that my life is about to end in seconds. Then I hear it, the piercing sound I had dreaded all my life. Bang! Straight through the heart as I screamed out in pain. I realised something.
I'm not the only unlucky one. No, I'm only one in thousands that die every minute. Have you ever wondered what life would be like if you were an animal? Yes? No? Maybe? Well, to be totally honest, there's a good side and then there's death. At first, it would be nice to see new things, go new places. But nowadays, animals aren't kept in their natural habitat. They are either brutally killed, forced to breed, or forced to lay eggs. What's even worse is that it's not being notified to the public, and it's being hushed up by people who only care for profit. But that stops now. At this very moment, I am raising awareness so that all animals may have a voice. Alright, I know what you're thinking. Oh my gosh, those poor animals. But really, when you go home, are you going to do anything about it? No, I don't think so. But let me give you some heart-hitting examples of why you should. First off, let's use the dog. Alright, imagine you had a dog. Call it Lollipops. Every day, Lollipops would greet you with an exciting bark, ruff, and a tail that doesn't stop wagging. Pretty cute, right? Well, that's one point of view. Another is where the dog is laying on the ground, dead, after it's been hit several times by a bat trying to learn new tricks for some circus. Now you're probably thinking one of two things. The first, he's definitely over-exaggerating. But really, would I be over-exaggerating? Or is it the fact that you can't admit these things are happening and not do anything about it? The second is that you know what's happening, but you can't do anything about it. Well, that's where you're wrong. All you have to do is go onto one of the numerous, and I mean numerous, animal-saving websites, such as World Wildlife Fund, Greenpeace, or even our own RSPCA, and donate some money, which can help save dozens of lives. After all, this is what we have been doing for the past 20 years on cutting back animal cruelty, such as killing baby seals, whale hunting and killing, taking away animals that are put in circuses, shutting down cruel and inhumane practices such as forced breeding puppy mills and the killing and hunting of elephants. So I ask you all today to think about our other earthlings which we share this planet with, that no matter short or tall, big or small, always care for all. But just before I leave you all today, I'd like to ask you one last question. Put your hand up if you go home and ask your parents, Mum or Dad, what's for dinner? I know I do. There would be some, and there is. Well, who do you think they will say after all the animals are gone because we killed them, and all the crops are gone because of greenhouse gases, another man-made structure? Who do you think will eat? You might not want to know.
It gives me great pleasure today to award the Social Justice Prize to Eva Durbis for her speech on refugees. I've chosen a book for the prize, for the Social Justice Prize this year, and it's a beautiful story about a young woman that we all know about because she's spoken out against injustice and for girls and for women, and her name is Malala. So I hope you enjoy Malala, the girl who stood up for education and changed the world. Thank you.
My job is to announce the runner-up and the winner. Congratulations everyone, bravo to all, but the runner-up today is Brendan Godwin.
There's your trophy. Then turn around that way so they can all see it.
You want to say something, Brendan?
Thanks.
Come over here. Okay, the winner today, congratulations to Christine Muscat.
I'd like to thank just the judges and just my school for choosing me to represent, and I'd like to thank my students because I've watched this a million times over. And yeah, thank you.